Welcome back. I need to express my feelings and share my story. My 41 female and my husband 45 have been together for 17 years. And for the most part, we've been happy with only minor disagreements. However, in May last year, I made a terrible mistake and cheated on him several times with 2 men. It wasn't because I wasn't still in love with my husband, but rather driven by desire and nostalgia. I kept these encounters a secret for the past few months, but the guilt eventually consumed me. And I confessed everything to my husband. He, being the kind, understanding man he is, forgave me on the condition that I cut all ties with my new group of girlfriends, which he always thought was a bad influence on me, as they're all either single or divorced women. He was very understanding and assured me it's okay to have that type of feelings, as we've been together for so long and things tend to lose the spark. It's important to mention that I never mentioned him the physical aspect of my encounters. I suppose his response would have been different had he known. Things were going relatively well until December when I reconnected with my girlfriends against my husband's advice. They never liked my husband, and with his recent stunt, he had lost even more popularity among them. We got together one night, and they had all filled my head with stuff, like how controlling my husband is, and how I shouldn't let him control me like a child, that it's abuse, etc. I listened to them, and at the moment, everything they said made sense. So that night, I cheated again with a different man. I let him whisk me off to a room upstairs and had his way with me. After the deed, I sat on the bed in a daze and couldn't believe what I had just done. I broke down after the man left. I kept weeping for hours there on the bed, thinking of how I had thrown away my marriage again for meager sex with a stranger that I hadn't even properly seen the face of. That night, I went home and confessed everything to my husband. I still didn't mention my first 2 encounters, as I didn't want him thinking even less of me. I begged, pleaded, and told him that there's something wrong with me, that I get in over my head with these desires that I have no control over. But he didn't buy it. He was no longer understanding of me like the first time around and had an outburst. I guess I did deserve it, considering what I've done. I feel this has shattered my husband even more than the first time, and despite my explanations and pleas, he seems determined to end our marriage. He has since contacted my brother, they're very close, and from what I understand, they're trying to find a good attorney. My brother is helping him and is always here, consoling him and offering advice. It's like a slap in my face, to be honest, and I feel all alone in this. I take full responsibility for my actions, and understand that I'm the cause of his pain and heartbreak. I can't begin to comprehend the pain my husband is going through right now, and both of us are lost in this situation. I regret my choices deeply and wish I had appreciated what we had before it was too late. I know that I'm now facing the consequences of my actions, and I feel overwhelmed with remorse. I really wish I had taken my husband's advice and cut my friend group out when he wanted me to. Comments. As someone who has experienced a similar situation, being married for 14 years and discovering my husband's infidelity, I can empathize with your pain. I found out about it recently, on the 12th, and quickly made the decision to pursue a divorce by the 15th. I sincerely hope that you never find true security in any of your future relationships. May you always bear the burden of pain and anxiety, constantly doubting and unable to trust the person you love the most. You have no comprehension of the gravity of your actions. It's even more disheartening that you believe uttering phrases like, "This proves that we don't really know what we have till it's gone," would evoke sympathy from anyone. I prioritize expressing my empathy towards your partner rather than resorting to attacking you through words. Your husband will likely carry a lasting feeling of inadequacy throughout his life. In future relationships, his partners will hold resentment towards you for transforming a once strong man into someone who is broken, insecure, and fragile. However, as he eventually heals, I hope he'll look back at this period of his life with complete indifference. May his painful experience become nothing more than a forgettable mistake. Have you ever wondered why someone other than your spouse appears so attractive? It's because they aren't exhausted from managing a household, raising children, and dealing with all the ordinary day-to-day responsibilities. They can simply show up looking polished and content because they don't have any commitments. They may engage in a physical relationship with you and even discuss love, but they're content to send you back to your spouse so they can avoid tasks like washing your dirty underwear or cleaning out the garage. If you were to embark on a life with one of your hookups, observe how his shine fades when he has to make real commitments. Story 2. So, we've been in a long-distance relationship for about a year and a half. It's been really challenging to go back and forth, and the time difference makes it incredibly lonely when I'm not there. I've struggled with many personal issues, including occasional gambling throughout our relationship. My partner has been supportive and has helped me address these problems because he's a good person. However, a couple of months ago, when I returned home, my mental health took a severe toll, and I started experiencing intense anxiety attacks and resumed gambling. During that time, I went out with some acquaintances and we ended up going to multiple bars. The next thing I remember is waking up in another man's bed. I immediately burst into tears and regretted my actions. I reached out to a helpline, seeking advice, and was told that if it didn't mean anything and was a genuine mistake, I didn't necessarily have to confess it to my partner. They advised me not to jeopardize our relationship over this incident. So I chose to keep that guilt to myself, thinking I could handle it. Unfortunately, I couldn't. The anxiety attacks and panic I experienced became severe. I convinced myself that I was making the right decision by not hurting my partner and that the pain was mine alone to bear. He was planning to visit me, and I initially thought I would tell him then. However, I realized it would be cruel to reveal the truth while he was in a different country and might feel trapped. Eventually, I decided to come clean. It was the most difficult and devastating thing I had ever done. To witness the pain I had caused my loved one and to not know what would happen next. We talked, and he said he needed time to make a decision, but couldn't talk to me for a couple of days. After our conversation, I kept pleading for another chance, which was quite pathetic. A few hours later, I attempted to call him again, desperately hoping to say or do something that would mend everything and bring back the future we had envisioned. I also sent messages. We spoke the following day, and he expressed his disappointment that I hadn't given him the space he needed. He confirmed that he wouldn't change his mind, and that was the end. I sent him a final message expressing that I would stop and saying goodbye. That was yesterday. And all day long, I find myself constantly checking my phone, wanting to call or message him. The reality that we're no longer together and that our future together has been shattered hasn't fully sunk in yet. I'm currently seeking a psychologist to address my self-destructive tendencies, and I have an appointment in 2 days to begin therapy. I've also joined a fitness group, and I'm genuinely making an effort to heal myself so that I never repeat the same mistakes with anyone else or myself. I truly love him with all my heart, and I never intended to hurt him. I can't stop thinking about him or resist the urge to contact him. I've reached out to 2 helplines because I've been punishing myself by restricting my eating, and I've even considered self-harm. I despise my actions and find it impossible to forgive myself. How can I move forward from this? All I want is to fix things and reach out to him. I know it's not fair, but I feel like I'm going crazy with regret. I deeply apologize, OP, but it's essential to acknowledge that you can't resolve this issue on your own. It's clear that the inner struggles you're facing will require significant therapy and introspection. However, understanding this fact empowers you with the tools needed to confront these challenges. With genuine determination, there's a high probability of overcoming these difficulties and improving your situation. Regrettably, your relationship with your ex is beyond repair. Yet, you can use it as motivation to propel your recovery forward, ensuring that your future relationships will be filled with happiness and fulfillment. Comments. It's alarming that the advice you received suggesting lying after cheating. One crucial aspect of avoiding infidelity is to avoid situations like bars and clubs, where cheating often happens. It's important for you to step back and take responsibility for your actions. You made a mistake, and now you must face the consequences. Use this experience as a lesson to improve yourself for future relationships. There are certain things in life that are irreparable, and cheating falls into that category. It's necessary to acknowledge that breaking up is an inevitable outcome because your ex-boyfriend's the type of person who may eventually forgive the betrayal, but he can never fully forget or accept it. I believe that long-term treatment with a competent therapist is essential for you, and the support of your family and friends is also crucial. I hope you will learn from your actions and apply those lessons to your future relationships, increasing your chances of success. P.S. Please don't take offense. Additionally, it's important not to casually use the sacred word love. Loving someone means being faithful and not engaging in deceitful behavior behind their back. What you did cannot be described as love, it's something else entirely. But I don't want to upset you with harsh language.